Game ranks? Game ranks might work. Wuchang, before you buy. Yeah, we'll check that out. I'll be back in just a second. Yeah. Wrapped around everything. Here we go. Just a second. Ads. Yeah. No, I don't. You're not gonna watch the video without me. No, not gonna happen. So, we have Wulong. We have Wukong. And now we have Wuchang. I saw his feet. No, you didn't. Because I am wearing socks. But I have shown my feet many times before. That is backwards. Shroud is streaming Wuchang. Apparently Doki was streaming Wuchang earlier as well. So, watch the game ranks one, because I like game ranks. Is anyone else? I don't care about IGN. I'm not going to watch the hour-long Iron Pineapple video. But we will watch game ranks.
Welcome back to another episode of Before You Buy, the show where we give you some straight-up gameplay and our first impressions of the latest games releasing. We're only a little more than halfway through the year, and the floodgates of new Souls
we are, aren't we? God.
Has yet to let up. We got Kaizen, the first Berserker, Elden Ring Night Rain.
I do like the I do like her idle pose. I don't know, there's something about this where it's just like ready for combat, but also not like like always like a fighting stance. Performance is horrible in Wuchang. You need to play it on low or medium. Yeah, apparently the PC version has the lowest score, which makes sense. I'm guessing UE5. Let's find out. Wuchang game engine. What is it using? UE5. Wow. Look at that. Another game in UE5 that runs badly. Wow, it's certainly not the engine, guys. No, there's nothing wrong with UE5. No. There's nothing whatsoever. It's just basically every game that comes out in UE5 runs badly. Has nothing to do with the engine. Absolutely nothing.
Fix the chat, Aussie man.
I will fix that. Thank you. Okay, there we go. Anyway, let's watch the video.
Let up. We got Kaizen, the first Berserker,
Did you say Kaizen?
Night Rain, AI Limit, Mandragora.
Oh yeah, AI Limit's another thing as well, isn't it?
Eliza P DLC, Rise of the Ronin on PC, kind of. Stellar Blade on PC also, kind of. No Rest for the Wicked, major updates. It's been non-stop with these.
Holy shit, he's playing this game fucking horrendously. This is you're demoing the game. Watch this gameplay again, okay? Let's just see this.
Rise of the Ronin on PC, kind of.
Hit.
Stellar Blade on PC also, kind
Gets hit
of.
again. Gets hit again.
No Rest for the Wicked, major updates. It's been
Gets hit
non-stop
again.
with these
Gets hit
games.
again.
And
Dead.
now comes.
That might be the worst demonstration of a game I have ever seen.
Wuchang Fallen Feathers. Yet another Souls-like to add to an already overcrowded market. And I wouldn't blame anyone for being a little burnt out with the genre. But even now, with how exhausting these games can be, Wuchang...
It's a fucking fog wall. Oh my god, this is actually just Dark Souls.
But even now, with how exhausting these games can be...
Let me show... Let me show you. Did they just fucking rip that from Dark Souls? Here you go. Wait, that's actually way too similar. Okay, I thought he put his hand up in Dark Souls 1. It is. What am I? There's definitely a Souls game where there's like moving the fog out of the way. Gamers that play these games aren't burnt out. They're just eating, way to go and resting. Exactly. Yeah. I know there's a lot of action game fans that are burnt out. Like Venny has talked about how she is just not a fan of Souls-like games. I'm more than happy. Give them to me. Give them all to me.
Wuchang actually deserves some attention because it's pretty great. It's developed by Lenzee.
Chinese studio name, yep.
I guess. They're known for...
Wait, let's find out what the studio name is. Lenzee. Developers Lenzee and Chengdu Lingzhe. Yeah, okay. I can see. I understand the issue here. Sorry, published by 505? Okay, sure, right? Yeah, sure. Okay.
Making Wuchang fall in feathers. That's it. That's the only thing they're known for. It's published by 505 Games. It's a graphically ambitious Souls-like out of China from an unproven developer that could have been a disaster, but just like Wukong, a game with a name that sounds almost the same, just accidentally bringing Wu-Tang into the equation here with some rap. I've made that joke already. Don't worry. We've gone there already in another video. But this game's an actual success. Out of all the similarly sounding games that start with a W, I'd put this one near the top. I mean, the Wu-Tang game won't be out for a while, but at least for right now.
Right, there's that one as well.
No, I mean, depending on what you're looking for, it may actually be the best. I know, bolt take cotton, but listen, there's a certain itch.
Graphically ambitious is a peculiar way of saying graphically hungry as fuck. Yeah, for sure.
This one scratches perfectly. So in Wuchang, you play as the titular Wuchang, set in...
You didn't have to use that word. You did not have to use the word titular. There are so many other words you could have picked. But you went with that one.
Be the best. I know, bolt take cotton, but listen, there's a certain itch this one scratches perfectly. So
I do think there's something off about the way that guy moves.
Wuchang, you play as the titular Wuchang, set in the ancient kingdom of Shu. The plot is classic Souls-like. It's conveyed almost entirely by talking to NPCs. And
like a lot of these games, I am noticing some weird sort of animations with how the enemies attack.
Environmental.
But it's one of those things where maybe it looks weird in a video, but it plays fine.
There's a plague called the Feathering, which is not a cool sounding plague, but not something I would want to happen to me. Think the Beast Plague, but instead of werewolves is bird people. Again, not something I would like.
Yes.
That's the game in a nutshell. It's part Bloodborne with the grotesque monster design, part Wukong with its exacting recreations of certain Chinese cultural sites.
There's your bonfire. Let me guess. We're gonna see. It's gonna say like level up. Maybe there's gonna be a shop, and there's gonna be like a fast travel. That's what's gonna be here.
Part Stellar Blade, because Wuchang herself.
Okay, we didn't see it yet.
And let's say there's some outfits that certain people will be discussing.
This is a video game. Oh man, China is like they know both China and Korea. Like we're just like, you know what? Fuck it. You want games with sexy women? Hey, who are we to say no?
On the internet and alone with themselves. Off the rails, sorry. It all probably sounds pretty derivative, and in some ways it is, but nothing isn't, really.
That's literally an Estes. Okay.
I mean, this is a classic Souls-like in every sense of the word.
That was cool. I've seen that attack a million times before.
Doesn't stray too far from the formula, at least with the basic gameplay, but the game does manage to do some interesting things with the formula, and ultimately, it's just a really fun experience that's...
I understand why some people are saying they're done with the Souls-like, right? Like, I have seen this attack pattern in so many games.
Some interesting things with the formula and all.
Like throws the spear down.
It's just
then it does a dive.
Fun experience.
And then maybe it does like a follow-up hit.
It's maybe a little less intense than some of its.
Yeah. Again, I haven't played the game, but I've fought this boss before.
Contemporaries. It's certainly still a challenging game, don't get me wrong. But it's definitely on the lower end of the Souls spectrum in terms of difficulty.
This feels like an early boss.
Kind of
very
refreshing.
Slow.
Now, at this point, I do not think I need to explain how a Souls-like works. For the most part.
No, explain it. No one knows.
This one sticks to the formula pretty close, but the parts where it does something different, I will say, are what makes it interesting. All the expected elements are here. In terms of controls, it's one-to-one. But one major difference here is a mechanic central to combat called Skyborn Might. How it works is, instead of having a power meter or a mana bar, you get charges when you perform perfect dodges, or perform so many attacks in a combo.
Right.
Or there's a few other ways that you can get unlocked later, which can be spent to cast magic.
So it's Kazan. Like, oh, here's a different system. We don't. It's Kazan. It's Kazan and it's Wukong. Both these games have a system like this. Most of the time, fan service makes me uncomfortable is the amount of it rather than the presence per se. Yeah, I like. Give me a second. Let me just play it. What, Stellar Blade? Is it Ian or Korean? What do we have? What a video game. Let me just jump ahead to when the music starts playing.
Raven.
Oh, it is Ian.
Eve.
Let's jump ahead to the music.
Eve.
Watch this.
I want you to stay back this time.
I've said before, when I played Stellar Blade, I like the outfit, yeah, you have the funny haha Gooner outfits, but most of the game, I actually just had, it was like a jumper and jeans. Or like a sweater and jeans. That is what I had Eve wearing the majority of the game. Once I unlocked it, I was like, okay, this looks good. Yes, I can run the funny haha Gooner outfits. But like at the same time, the sweater and jeans actually looked really really cute.
This is my battle.
Listen to this music, man.
I can't believe I have to fight in this form. The body of a super weapon created from my sphere. But
This plays the entire fight. I don't miss the Raven fight, it's so cool. No, everyone was so focused on the outfits, but no one talked about how good the music in this game is. Anyway, let's go back to not the Korean Guna game. Let's go to the Chinese Guna game.
To perform discipline skills that you unlock for different weapons or specific weapon abilities, because you get charges for dodging, which by the way,
pretty like the main thing that matters here is the gameplay, and it looks like it feels pretty good. I'm still buying until, yeah, I understand. Yeah.
Extremely generous in terms of invincibility frames. Pretty much the entire dodge is untouchable, rather than the first part of it,
dodging,
like in most of these types of games. So you're building up a charge pretty much all the time, meaning you can unleash your special abilities and weapon skills.
Wait, what? No,
pretty much all the time.
We can't move on from that. What the fuck is this helmet? What is this? You want a fucking starfish on your head?
You can unleash your special abilities and weapon skills pretty constantly. It's a really empowering.
Is that like a... Wait, it's like a...
Special abilities and weapon skills pretty constantly. It's
like a monster with... What the... What the fuck is this hat? It's a Venus flytrap? Yeah, I guess so. You ever have bulldog ramen? No, but I've. You want some Brodie lore? I have never had instant ramen. Never. I have never eaten instant ramen in my entire life.
It's a really empowering system that lets you go nuts with magic and powers as long as you're able to keep the momentum up. So the game essentially encourages aggression above all else. Especially when you start unlocking clash enhancements for some of your attacks, which make
let me guess. This is a status effect. I don't know what it's going to be. Probably like a poison.
So certain moves all but ignore or absorb most of the damage from enemy hits. Most of the time, it's dodging. There is a parry system, but it's tied to certain weapons, and it's entirely optional, which is, I'm also...
okay, parrying. Okay, so it's like Wukong then. Parrying is not your main thing.
I'm also just going to say, pretty refreshing after the amount of parry-heavy action games we've had over the last couple of years.
Wukong was a nice change. I do like the idea of going to... Dodging is nice. Dodging is cool.
This game really feels like a flashier, more powers-based Bloodborne, and that is not a bad thing at all. Another significant alteration from the usual Souls formula.
I heard that mistake.
At all. Another significant alteration.
Didn't catch that one in editing.
From the usual Souls formula is that the game has a skill tree. How you level up, essentially the same. You get currency from killing enemies. It can be spent to level up.
So it's like Wukong. This is exactly like Wukong.
Skill tree really simplifies the process. Each branch focuses on a different aspect of gameplay, including weapons. There's a pretty decent selection of killing implements here. You got your standard longswords, spears, axes, double blades, one-handed swords that are interesting, actually closer to magic catalyst than your usual agility-based weapons.
Okay.
And the sword branch is also the magic branch. While unlocking upgrades and skills for weapons, you can also put points towards strength or vitality or whatever. And each branch gives you upgrades that enhance each specific weapon type, which makes upgrading your character less of a guessing game as long as you spread out points down a certain weapon.
Hold up. Was there a respec option in there?
And you can
Yep, reset points right here. Awesome. Lovely.
also put points towards strength
Always
or
good to
vitality
see.
or whatever. And each
Always
branch
have a
gives you
respec.
upgrades that enhance each specific weapon type, which makes upgrading your
In Sekiro, parry is just it is. Yeah, parry is a requirement in Sekiro. I don't think you can beat the game without parrying.
your character less of a guessing game. As long as you spread out points down a certain weapon path, you're probably going to be okay in Wuchang. One actual innovation is that the weapon upgrades are done through a skill tree as well. Instead of upgrading certain weapons, like in pretty much all these games, you instead upgrade an entire weapon class, so you can freely swap to new weapons that pop up and
Oh, okay. I like that. Because a lot of the time what you have happen is you'll dump material into a weapon and then you see something that's technically a better base type. You don't have the material to upgrade it, so you can't, it's just not really justified to upgrade yet.
all upgrades are automatically applied to them, which is a great idea. I would definitely like to see that implemented in other games like this. You're not stuck using a specific weapon anymore, which is real nice. It's a simple thing, but I like it. It makes finding new weapons feel rewarding instead of like a chore. Oh, I love this new weapon. Now I have to do all the same shit for it that I've already done for my other weapon that I don't want anymore. It's not like that. There are
Corruption. Let me guess. Is corruption poison?
a lot of other systems to mess
Yes, corruption's poison.
around with. Maybe too many to be honest, but it's
Or
not
Plague
that
if you're playing
complicated of a game if you're
Kazan.
familiar with the genre. The death mechanics are slightly different here. They might sound really punishing at first, but honestly, it's really not that bad. There's this whole convoluted
the
mechanic
fuck?
called
No.
At
What
first-
the fuck is this?
but
What the
honestly, it's
fuck
really-
is this outfit? Oh, God. Yeah, it's purple poison. Yeah. I thought this was like a fairly conservative dress. No, no, not at all. Not even remotely.
not that bad. There's this whole convoluted mechanic called madness, where if you kill humans or die in battle, your madness builds up until it maxes out, and then Wuchang's eyes go red and she does more damage, but she also takes more damage while
Builds up madness, takes more damage. Deals more damage, takes more damage. That's not like humanity. It's definitely not like humanity. And it's not exactly like Sekiro's system. I think I don't know if there's a system like that, like in a Souls-like game. You die a lot, you deal more damage, and you take more damage. Oh, so you kill people. That one might actually be new.
While in this state, you can remove the effect by using special rare items or killing bosses. But if you die while at full madness, then a demon gets left at the spot that you died. If it kills you, you lose all the currency that dropped on the ground.
Oh, okay, yeah. So this is, in some ways, like Kazan?
Madness has other effects too. Like if you're a UK rock band, it can get you to peak at number 45 on the US 100 Billboard charts. But here,
closes a ring that does more damage when on low health. Yeah.
Madness will do different things. If it's high or low, it affects certain skills. How high it is affects how many souls you drop when you die. It's a whole thing.
No, the currency is not called souls. Shut up. Shut up. No, the currency in this game is not called souls. Literally just Dark Souls.
Sounds scary, but it's ultimately just your standard corpse run mechanic with an added red invader once in a while. So mechanical stuff out of the way, let's talk about what makes this game actually good. First, environmental design. Very strong.
I mean, it's not like Souls as a loose word. It's not. But also, it is kind of funny when you make a Souls clone and you literally have a currency just called Souls, right? Like that. It's a bit on the nose to do it like that.
It's a beautiful game with dense, really detailed areas. The first zone is especially impressive. And what really surprises me is that this game, it looks incredible at times, plus still having a reasonable file size. It's less than 50 gigabytes on a full install.
Okay.
Visually, not quite up there with Wukong, but it's close. Along with the environment.
Wukong has a lot of UE5 problems. I don't know if this game's gonna have it, but like Wukong has some lighting issues where you go from dark areas to bright areas, and it's just like lighting just dies. Or it has some upscaling AA problems.
Mental design. I really appreciate the level design.
What about every RPG use gold? Okay, gold is a different one because that is like an actual currency that would have been used in real life, like copper coins, right? Like, people did actually trade in copper, silver, and gold coins. Credits, I think... Okay, but like, Souls are such a unique thing to the Dark Souls experience. Like, what is another game that uses Souls as a currency? It's like a very... It's kind of very specific to this like minor niche in games.
In general, it's not just visually good, it's also mechanically good. Each area is sprawling with tons of little side paths and alternate routes to explore. When there's a village, it's not just a single corridor. You can go into the houses, climb on the roof, explore the back alleys.
Any reason
go
to
pretty
do so
much anywhere you can see. For me, a big part of the Souls experience is exploration, and this game has got excellent level design for that. It starts off pretty linear, but once you're through the first major area, it suddenly opens up quite a bit. Maybe a little bit too much for some people. It really becomes a sprawl of interconnected areas that could be confusing for some because there's no map. In this part of the game, it's easy to wander into areas that are far too difficult for you. But the main path is pretty obvious. It's just tempting to go off the beaten path because it's a video game. That's
I don't really like the interface down here. That feels real weird and awkward.
Kinda what everybody does.
Same with this here. I don't like having the controls. I hope you can turn this off. I don't like having the controls always on the screen. Like, this is nice as you're trying to learn things, but I wouldn't want this to be here all the time.
In those. In terms of bosses, they're varied and they're often pretty spectacular. In pure volume, there's not...
That is something that Wukong did really well.
Nearly as many as in Wukong, but I also have to say I prefer this game's more spaced out boss encounters. This may be a key way.
Yeah, Wukong was a lot of bosses. Like, every fucking 10 steps, there's a boss. And you did have a lot of, like, you had the repeat frog bosses and repeat cart bosses and repeat there's a bunch of other like reskin bosses.
That this is more like a traditional Souls than Wolong. The bosses stand out more when they're not absolutely everywhere, and I appreciate that many of these can be taken.
In Wukong, the first area, there is 3 bosses within like 100-meter radius.
Taken on whenever you want and don't often gate progress. The game has plenty of traditional guide with sword style bosses, but the Bloodborne influence brings some really impressive freaks to the fight as well.
Okay.
And while some of these boss fights are not so bad, some are going to stomp you into dust if you go in unprepared. In general, I'd say this game is the inverse of a lot of recent Souls games, where I'd say the levels are actually the harder part, not so much the bosses. Certain locations are really grueling tests of endurance, where save points are limited, but enemies are many. There's a lot of mini-boss style special encounters dotted around that can be just as dangerous as certain full boss encounters. There's tons to explore too, but exploration is
okay. I'm guessing this is like a mini-boss thing. The time to kill is not that crazy.
Well in this game.
That is probably some of these do
new
suffer
weapons that actually have their own unique properties and special moves. But then there's also upgrade materials and a whole lot of costumes. When I first booted up the game and I saw a shop option, I was a little worried about the game being stingy with the armor, but this is not the case. They absolutely shower you with different costumes.
Okay, yeah. Oh, yeah. Of course there is a shop. Of course there's paid. Of course there's paid armor. Doesn't look like there's that much. Yeah, looks like there's just a couple of things right now, but maybe it might add more.
Costume parts, so I mean, it's almost hard to keep up. That's how much is going on there. And in a kind of refreshing change for a game like this, not all the armor sets you're getting are revealing. There's a lot of standard enemy armors you get as well, and some pretty sick looking boss armors. I mentioned enemy design, but
as I said, right? Yes, people talk about. Let me just show you the Stellar Blade costumes. Okay, let me just. Like, yes, Stellar Blade. The majority of the costumes are revealing. Yes, that is. Yes, that is Stellar Blade. But like, look at this. You get an outfit like this one, right? This one has a very short skirt, so maybe not that one. Yeah, okay, you have that one. This one also has a pretty short skirt. That one's cut. Yeah, this one's nice, right? Like, even Stellar Blade. Yes, that has. Here's one. Here's a really nice outfit as well. Or this. Even Stellar Blade has a lot of really just like normal outfits. And then there's that one. Look, I'm not gonna pretend like Stellar Blade has majority normal outfits, but you know, it has them for people who want them.
I do have to give it.
But I do like the idea of actually having enemy armor. That is nice to have in a game like this, especially.
This game, they came up with some really impressively disgusting and bizarre enemies. There are some things where I just didn't know what to expect when I walked up to them, and that's what you want to see in a Souls game. They managed to put that sort of fear of the unknown into you, and trust me, like I've seen. I don't want to say it all because I obviously haven't, but it feels like I've seen it all. But here, along with enemies, the level design, it's not just good because it's big and fun to explore. It's all varied. There's stuff that, like, you just don't expect. There's unique enemies and hazards to mix things up. Some places have undead that spawn endlessly, unless you disable certain monoliths. There's a giant cave pit full of failed experiments, rebel camps full of traps and cannons and archers and towers. There's a dense moonlit forest full of bizarre parasites lying in wait. It's not just that there's different areas, each one feels different, and they have an impressive variety of enemies, and that, man, does that help. It's just a solid game overall that looks and feels great. It's good to play. It's pretty damn long with lots of side quests and optional locations to explore. There's not a lot of full-blown secrets, at least that I've seen. And the interconnectivity is not like as impressive as the first Dark Souls or anything.
Sure.
But after so many aggressively linear Souls-likes that have been coming out lately, the kind of nod to the more non-linear approach of the original is refreshing. The game also runs great on my PC at maxed out settings.
That's interesting. That is very interesting.
Almost no glitches, no noticeable bugs to speak of. I did get a little hitching when moving between environments, but otherwise it's really stable. All in all, Wuchang is a solid game, pretty great Souls-like that doesn't do a lot to upend expectations, but gets by on just being really well made and fun to play. It's not like it's just a carbon copy of every other Souls that you've played in the past.
Okay.
It brings a couple of minor new things to the table, certainly appreciated things, but it's the density
the movement
and complexity
looks nice.
of the stages and the design. That's what I want in these games. And I'll say, maybe sometimes the complexity might be a little bit much for some people, but it's what I'm here for, man. I like this sometimes. Annoying traps and endlessly branching paths. If you prefer the games to be a little more linear and straightforward, you might get a little frustrated with this one past the first area. Combat might take a little getting used to as well. You need to unlock those Clash upgrades and the Skyborn Might stuff to get the most
a lot
out.
of these Souls-like games that have more combat mechanics to them, they will tend to be not feeling amazing until you have like some unlocks. Like in Stellar Blade, for example, until you have the ability to do counters, there's a lot of things that are kind of rough.
Of it, but once it clicks, you're gonna feel like an unstoppable killing machine.
Same with Kazan.
For folks burnt out on Souls-likes, I still think this game deserves a look simply because it's such a well-made game. Like, you get burnt out on these things not necessarily because they're impossible to make something that's fun and fresh to play. It's more because you get used to a certain level of a bare minimum quality that kind of starts to feel like that's the mediocre one, even if in a lot of cases they're pretty good.
I still need to play Liza P as well. I haven't gotten around to that one.
You need some standouts, and this is, in terms of quality, a standout. Like I said, I don't know if it's going to innovate and take you into a new age, but man, oh man, is it a...
Sekiro feels like it achieves much more having a lot less in the middle. When it comes to... Yeah. Sekiro... I think the problem with a lot of these Souls-like games is they try to do too much. Like, they'll give you too many mechanics to play with. What made Dark Souls 1 so good is you dodge roll, you parry, you attack. And then you can, obviously, counter when you parry. And when you knock their stamina bar down, you can, like, stab them as well. But the problem with a lot of these games is they have a lot of abilities, they have a lot of systems, and it goes a bit too far. Sekiro is definitely like a good middle point, right? Sekiro is a game where you have abilities, but you're not spamming them constantly, right?
Good game. There's not a lot of story to bog things down, and in these games, story is often a liability. There's tons of opportunities.
Yeah, especially if they're trying to tell it like a Dark Souls story.
There's amazing vistas to stop and stare at. It's everything you could want in one of these games, while also being a little more forgiving with the difficulty, and again, possible to play around other people. And although some of you are going to play with yourselves, I don't think that's
haha funny.
Explicitly the reason you're gonna be playing this game. I just realized how I said that. It's basically everything you could want with one of these games of being just a bit more forgiving with the difficulty. The general lack of innovation probably holds it back from being one of the best of the best, but a sort of Bloodborne-like with a Wuxia setting. It gives it a unique vibe. It's engrossing, it's fun, and anybody who likes this genre should check it out. As long as you don't mind getting lost once in a while, because you will get lost once in a while. That's what I've got for you. What do you have for me? That's all. Leave us a comment. Let us know what you think. If you like this video, click like. If you're not subscribed, now's a great time to do so. We upload brand new videos every day.
It looks pretty solid, and then I go to Steam. All review 19%. Holy, that's rough. What are people saying? Why is it 19%? Massive performance. That's interesting, right? Because he said there's no issues with his performance. Performance. What does he run? What is his system? Unstable UE5 game. UE5. 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 Okay, here's someone who actually doesn't like the combat. UE5. Most people are complaining about UE5 performance. UE5. Actual bug. Capybara. UE5. Crash. UE5. 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 UE5, UE5, UE5. No, we still have a while left for Kazan. We only have a couple of hours left for Kazan still. It sounds like a lot of people don't like the UE5.